Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Danny from The Glitter Rose. I'm so excited to share my latest make with you. I had so much fun creating him, and I think the end result is really effective. So the tag features lots of texture and shading, and it was just so much fun to put together. So in this tag, I've used Sizzix Dies. So the moon is from um, Moonlight by Tim Holtz. Dracula is The Count by Tim Holtz, and the tag is by Aall and Create. It's my favorite tag die. I think it's really effective. So the tag also features some sprays. So I've used a mixture of oxides and spray stains, along with some new distress spritz. So in the moon, there's a really nice sort of shimmer to it. I've used ink pads as well, and some crayons. So I do my die cutting for these layered die cuts a little bit different. So if you want to see how I created the dimension without having to pull out 3 or 4 different colors of the skin, stick around. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And I'd also love to hear what you think about him. I just love him. All right, let's get into it. So the instructions for the count say to use blue. However, I wanted a Mediterranean skin tone for the count. So rather than pulling out 3 varying skin tone depths, I've decided I'm going to ink them. So I personally feel that darkest should be at the back, and then it goes middle and then lighter. So that's what I'm doing. I'm popping on a lot of ink down the bottom and then not so much on the middle. And then, oh, there's actually, sorry, 4 layers of skin tone. So I'm just, um, yeah, varying the tones so that it's darkest at the bottom and then lightest at the top. And I'm just going to ink blend this, checking how they look as I'm blending them. So then I know if they need more color. I like to keep in mind that it's not final. I can always do a little bit of shading either with more ink, with a small brush. I'm finding the distress crayons to be great for shading. Um, I can also shade with pencils or some chalk. So it's not the end of the world. If you don't have the right ink pad, there's lots of different options that you can use. The great thing is that you don't need to worry too much about it being perfectly smooth, because by the time it's layered, you don't see a lot of the shading. But by shading, rather than using different tones of colour, cardstock, it really adds more depth and dimension, and gives it that um, more dimensional look. It also adds a little bit more character, which I like. I guess it just depends on how you want to go about it. Um, there's no right or wrong way, it's just the way that I do it. I love these layered dies from Tim Holtz. I think that they are so clever. I've done paper piecing before using a Sizzix, not a Sizzix, a Cricut or a Silhouette cutting machine, and it's just not the same. You get so much more texture when you use dies, so I really do love a little bit of paper piecing. All right, I'm going to finish ink blending these, and then we might pop it together. I popped him together off camera because he was a little bit fiddly. So I will link Sizzix's instructions on how to put him together in case you've just gotten the die and you're not sure where the bits go, but they have fantastic instructions. I want to add a little bit more shading around him, so I'm grabbing out my distress crayons and I'm just going to smooch some brown around the edges. I'm really enjoying using my distress crayons, but again, you can use pencils or chalk or any crayons, just something that you've got. Doesn't have to be distress. I'm just warming that crayon up with my finger, so then it just melts into the cardstock and just adds to that shading. It's quite an easy technique. I think it's even easier than ink blending, so I love it. I'm going to pop a little blush on his cheeks. Just bring out his cheekbones. Just rub that in and then I'll call him done. Oh, I think he looks good. Isn't that clever? All the layers. All right, now for the tag. Actually, let's jump into the moon and do that. So I'm using some mustard seed at the front, and then I'll use a lighter yellow for the back piece. So I'm just ink blending that. Not worrying too much about it because the moon's motley. It doesn't have to be super smooth and even. That's looking pretty good to me. For this one, I'm going to use scattered straw, and I'm just going to pop that on lightly. I want the brighter to be the front piece. I'm just going to edge this with a little bit of vintage photo, just to give that a little bit of darkness around the edge. It's just so nice and soft and easy to use. I want my moon to glow, to be a little bit magical looking. So I've grabbed out my Distress Spritz and I'm going to spray that. So I'm using fossilized amber, which is a yellowy gold colour. And we'll see what we think when we do that. Just give it a shake up. That's nice. This stuff seems to dry really quickly as well. So I'm not going to worry too much about drying it off. I've grabbed out the weathered wood spritz and I'm going to give that a spray over the top just to add a little bit of silver, bluey sort of a shine to it. And I'm going to let this dry. Ooh, shiny. It's nearly dry and doesn't that look cool? I'm happy with that. All right, let's move on to the tag now. Okay, so I've grabbed out some spray stains and I'm just using my matte, my non-stick matte, and just dabbing it in. So the trick with this is for layers. So you dry in between layers and build up that kind of grungy, splotchy look. This is a technique that I love. I'm using seedless preserves, black soot, weathered wood, and Wilted Violet. So together I'm hoping that they make a nice mix. I was going to go Villainous Potion, but I think that would be just too close to his clothes, and I want it a little bit different. So I'm using all stains apart from the weathered wood, just for that oxidization, which I'll put over the top for the last one. I'll speed this section up because this will take the longest part of the tag. And I'm just finishing it by going over the top because I really want it to look oxidized. I'm going to dry this off and then we'll be back. I've got some Crypt grit paste, which is a really nice gritty, it almost feels sandy texture paste in the colour of Crypt, which I think will be perfect for this tag. So I'm just popping it on just to add a little bit of texture onto it. By the time it's finished, I think some of that grit paste will pick up some of the colour from the background. So it will turn a kind of grey purple colour, which will look really cool. I'm not worrying too much because I'm aware that the die cuts are fairly large, so a lot of this will be covered up anyway. The good thing about grit paste is that you can gently dry it with a heat gun. So I'm going to wash up my stencil and palette knife and give it a dry, and I'll be back when it's dry. I've just got some seam binding here and I'm colouring it using the same colours that are in my tag. So just spraying it and then I'll dry it off. I'm going to flick some black on because I want that to be splotchy. It's just such a great way to be able to tie in your ribbon on tags. I'll dry this off and then I'm going to glue the tag to its base and I'll be back. Okay, so before everything's glued down, I've just worked out where I want to put things and I'm going to glue on some bats. These are the bats from the moon die. So that one's Moonlight. I just like these bats a little bit more for this tag because they're smaller than the bat that comes with the Count. So I've popped that down and then I'm going to glue down the moon and Count. I've popped a hole in my tag for my ribbon. I'm going to glue it all down. I'll do that off camera and then I'll be back with the finished tag. I've grabbed a saying out from Halloween 2024 sticker book from Tim Holtz Ideology, and it just says peculiar, and I thought that was just short and sweet, sums it up. When my daughter saw this tag, she's like, "Oh no, I don't know about his face. I don't know about the holes in his head." Oh dear. Anyway, I love him, even if he is peculiar. Off camera, I have just gone around with some black crayon just to frame it and give it that extra bit of depth. And we're all finished. I have to say, I really like him. I think he's gorgeous. I had so much fun making him. All right, let me know down below what you think. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber and hit the like button. Thanks so much for watching till the end. I hope that you enjoyed it. I appreciate each and every one of you who takes the time to watch my videos and comment or hit the like button. It really means a lot to me. All right, guys. Till next time. Bye for now.